Are we gonna save my video for next week? How long is this video? Still playing this
Last
boring
week,
ass
I
game.
uploaded a video
I don't know. My relationship with Yu-Gi-Oh is complicated right now. All right, let's just watch this first.
talking about the end of Speed
Hold on, I need to turn this up. Actually, let's go system volume.
Duels. And in that video, I brought up how... Last week, I uploaded a video talking about the end of Speed Duels. And in that video, I brought up how a Brazilian distributor said that they would be replaced by something new. What is that new thing? Well, the community has two theories. First is the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Retro account Konami made on Twitter, where they would focus on quote-unquote retro things in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Property. And people believe that we'd...
Oh, I never seen this before, but it's from June, so interesting. Cause okay, I thought he was talking about something that came out like this week. I'm like, whoa.
be getting things like a Goat/Edison sets. However, I personally think they're going to focus on old
Aren't
school
you in
video games like
California,
Duels of the
Spy Fox?
Rose, especially after the early day set was announced. Regardless, we don't know too much on what they're going to do with it.
Spy Fox. Okay, hold on. Spy Fox, do me a favor. Don't upload Dark Imp. Don't upload anything from Dark Emperor's channel onto your highlight channel, Spy Fox. If you want to upload some stuff from the stream, I guess it's fine, but not Dark Emperor stuff. Yeah, stop stealing his videos and putting them on. Even if I'm in the video, just don't upload his stuff, okay? Leave him to his own devices. Asmongold does it. Yeah, well, you ain't Asmongold, all right? Stop up, because you're stealing views from him, so stop doing it. Don't make us take action.
This as they haven't
All
posted
right? We're asking you nicely, Spyfire. I did say at the beginning, I actually did say please, so thank you.
too much, so
Free
there's
publicity?
not really much to say.
No, he's not at the size. Free publicity, like, that's applicable, chat, when you get to, like, a certain size. That's when it's like, oh, well, all press is good press, you know what I mean? Free publicity is good, but whatever. If we watch these, no, just don't upload them. Just don't. Yeah, Spy Fox, don't. Yeah, Jib, you tell him. Jib is another small content creator, chat. When you're a smaller content creator and you're trying to grow, you can't afford to have people doing that. To have people like taking your views and stuff. So like, please
Say
don't
on
do
this
that.
point, but I did think it was worth bringing up as a possibility. The main possibility I wanted to focus on is the majority of the community's belief that this new thing is Rush Duels finally coming to the West. And this makes the most logical sense as Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush is getting an English dub adaptation. Rush Duels, from what I've heard, have done well in Duel Links, especially when Go Rush World was added. I don't know if that's statistically true, I'm just going off what I heard. And just in general, Konami has given Rush Duels just as much attention as Master Duel. So that's why people believe Rush is finally coming to the West, and in this video, I just wanted to talk about the potential Rush could have here. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Okay, do I think Rush Duels have potential in the West? Well,
Bro, look at these artworks. That's one, chat. That's one thing I cannot get over. I cannot get over not just the like the art of Rush, just how cool the cards look. Seriously, why is Seven Roads Magician not in the TCG? Like, they could just make a different version of Seven Roads Magician, you know, that doesn't suck, and put it in the TCG. Because it's a really cool looking card. Like, badass. But it's trapped in Rush Duels 4B.
yes, I do think they have potential here. One big factor Rush Duels have over Speed Duels.
Look up Graceful Charity for Rush Duels. Let's see. Is it like the front image of her? Let me see. Is this it? I mean, it's not the first. This is Graceful Charity. This one. This looks insane. Requirement none. Draw 3 cards and send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard. That looks amazing. Yeah, they changed their artwork completely. I mean, it's the same girl. It's the same angel. But yeah, Chad, I can't get over, like, how much Konami puts into Rush Duel cards. Like the design, I don't even know what this card is, but it looks cool because it's Cyber Dragon. This time it's actually in cyberspace, I guess. All right, anyways.
Is that a majority of their card pool is new cards. One of the major problems I highlighted in my Speed Duel video was how the product itself was a bunch of reprints that the community or returning players did not want to pay money for.
True.
But Rush doesn't have this problem, as it has value in its products by having newly designed cards. This can get both parties interested, as not only does it offers a simpler format, but it also offers new cards that will give them a new experience, something that Speed didn't do that much. The first comment in my Speed Duel video brought up something I probably should have talked about, and it's how exactly does Speed Duel justify itself. If people want to play a simple form of Yu-Gi-Oh!, they can also go to Go/Edison instead of Speed. Rush, on the other hand, gives players a new way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And overall a brand new experience to the game as a whole.
That's true.
That's what I think makes Rush justify itself. Again, I ain't doing this to bash Speed, but I did think this was something to bring up. Some minor things I wanted to talk about that I also believe garnered hype for Rush is how their art is more expressive than Master Duels, and at times we get full artworks of cards, something that people in Yu-Gi-Oh! Wanted for a long time.
Bro, just like look at this. And of course, chat, the original Dark Magician girl is iconic. She's got like 15 different designs. But just look how good this looks. And I'm not even one of those people who's like, oh, it has to be full art. If this wasn't full art, it'd still look insane.
Other games like Pokemon.
Like, I really just want to buy Speed Duel, or I want to buy Rush Duel cards, chat, just to own them. I have no interest in playing Rush Duel at all. I just want to own the cards because they look cool.
Have them. Also, their rarities like Over Rush Rare provide some appeal to them, making them aesthetically more pleasing and different from what Master Duel provides. To add to this, Konami has recently added fan favorite archetypes into Rush like Blue Eyes, Heroes, Ancient Gears, Cyber Dragons, and more. But one thing they did different was that they gave those decks Rush Duel exclusive cards. They gave them new support that differs from what they gives them in Master Duel to not only help them out in the Rush Duel environment, but give them new plays that didn't exist before. For example, Blue Eyes got a main deck monster that treats itself as 2 materials for a fusion summon, meaning that you can summon Ultimate Dragon with just 2 monsters.
Yo, this card's actually pretty... if you control a face-up level 8 or higher dragon-type monster on your field, you can special summon this card from your hand to your field in face-up defense position. Is it me, or is this just like a better Blue Eyes alternative dragon? It becomes Blue Eyes, and if you fusion summon it, just... This card's cool. Defense... Who cares? No, what the F? Dude, this card is at least as good as alternative dragon. What do you mean? The summoning condition is like so much easier because with alternative, you have to have the original freaking Blue Eyes in your hand, right? Don't you have to reveal it? This just says have a dragon on field. You can play this in Dragon Link. Yeah, it just says have a big dragon on field. I like this card. Who cares if it goes to defense mode?
I should mention that the reason this exists because the legend system in Rush makes it so that you can only play one Blue Eyes White Dragon. But regardless, it's an interesting card that provides a new experience to the Blue Eyes deck. This is Konami's way of getting older players interested by adding never-before-seen cards to fan-favorite archetypes that allow them to do new plays that you couldn't do before. Another thing I wanted to bring up is Konami's way of marketing Rush, as they have their own anime series connected to them. They recently showed off Rush Duels at World, and they gave them their own English prize card. So people are aware of Rush Duel's existence. The only reason you don't hear too much talk about it in the West is mainly due to the fact that we don't have a physical release here in the TCG. But regardless, in my opinion, Konami has given Rush Duels a lot of exposure, which could be hinting at a physical release, but only time will tell if I'm correct. I should also mention that there is interest within the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community to try out Rush. Big Yu-Gi tubers like MBT, Ruxin, House of Champs John Moore, and others have mentioned that they would like to try out Rush Duels, and by having them try it out, their audience might be interested too, so both the potential and the interest exist in the West. It's just a matter of having a physical release here to see if it will be successful. By the way, I made a little montage of people who have shown interest in Rush, and I'll show you what they have to say about it.
We are back with another epic opening, and in this one I'm super excited because I've really liked Rush Duel on Duel Links when I've played it a little bit over there, and I thought it was super fun. And we don't have it in the TCG yet, so thanks to—
Kill him. Boom! This deck is so good. This deck is so good. Good! I fucking love Rush Duels. Holy shit.
What the heck? Why am I in the video? What the heck? Why am I in the video? Oh god. Dude, this card looks awesome! Hey,
now, for this part of the video, I want to address some concerns that people have brought up when it comes to Rush having a physical release. One major problem that comes up is the time span, as we are 4 years apart from the OCG. People think that's too late for Rush to be.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a legitimate point, chat. If you know anything, chat, the TCG did get released a lot. I mean, it was basically like 3 years after the OCG, and the way they kind of played catch up is that's why the TCG sets, chat, were 100 cards, where the OCG sets were just 60. So eventually, you keep releasing 40 more cards, you will catch up. But I would argue it's really not ideal for them to do that, chat. That was the beginning of like Yu-Gi-Oh being released. You know, you're talking 1999 OCG, 2002 TCG. So like doing that type of structure is really not ideal. But yeah, releasing something 4 years later is maybe like you'd want to keep it like maybe a year later, but 4 years is a lot.
Here, but I got something to say about that concern. When Yu-Gi-Oh itself started here in the West,
there you go. That's exactly what he pointed to. Yeah, when the OCG started, it was like 1999. The TCG didn't release until 3 years later, and the TCG had to compensate by making their sets a lot bigger, which actually made our sets worse because we got a bunch of just terrible filler cards. A lot of those vanilla monsters that you see in Blue Eyes, Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon, or in Metal Raiders, you know, they're because we had to get them somehow, but it is what it is.
We were 3 years apart from the OCG. But what TCG did was they took a bunch of OCG packs and put them all into one set, that being LOB. If they can do that before, they can 100% do that again. We're not dealing with some small indie company, we're dealing with $1 billion corporation.
10 billion.
Will it cost Konami money? Yes, but that's the price of business. If you're not going to invest the money into it, then you're never going to allow it to be successful. Also, despite the 4-year gap, the game itself hasn't gone through some massive change.
Look how good these cards look. So this is a cover card. We know that. It's a fusion. This is Seven Rhodes' fusion form. Oh my god, chat. It looks so cool. He's like on a... Dude, it looks like they fused him with a gladiator beast or something. This is... What's it called? He has a fusion form. It looks freaking awesome. This is a little interesting. It says maximum attack 4,000. I'm unfamiliar with this, whatever this mechanic is, where monsters can, I guess, change their attack value. But there's no way you can't say, chat, that Rush Duel art doesn't. I think it's at this point, chat, I would say Rush Duel art's better than TCG, significantly, by the way. Just look at the aesthetics of these cards. It's better than what we get in the TCG. It just is.
It's still the same as when it started. While I know they added Maximum, Fusion, and recently Contact Fusion, it still has the simplicity that the game advertised itself to be. Now, if Rush all of a sudden added all the mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or we were 10 years apart, then yeah, maybe you could argue that this matters, though that's not the case here. So for me personally, I don't think the 4-year gap will be that big of a problem, but again, I could be wrong. Another concern that I saw people bring up was how TCG Konami would handle Rush Duels. Some of these concerns include things that we are currently dealing with in Master Duel, like short printing and rarity bumping, very anti-consumer tactics that I would argue made this year very chaotic. I'll explain that in a different video. To me, this feels like a valid concern, because at the end of the day, we're dealing with Konami, and they don't have the cleanest reputation when it comes to treating their player base well.
Nope.
TCG could completely fumble the bag with Rush Duels in the West, and maybe it won't do well as people have hoped. I will speak more on this as the video progresses, as there's two more things I wanted to talk about, and it's how I've seen people debate whether or not Rush Duel will be successful or not in the West. For the past 4 years, I've seen people debating whether Rush will be successful or not, and some people really go into depth with this subject, but I just wanted to say this. We don't know for sure if Rush will fail or not in the West. At the end of the day, this is something that we have no idea how it will go.
Interesting.
I've seen people argue that we have too many card games like Lorcana, One Piece, and Alestros for Rush to be considered successful, as well as other factors, but I feel like those don't confirm that Rush will fail here. The same can be said for it being successful. As I mentioned before, Konami can completely fumble the bag in this situation, but again, we don't know how things will turn out. You can make the most convincing argument, but you could still be wrong at the end of the day. In this video, I never said Rush will outright be successful or outright fail, but I just wanted to point out its potential, as well as what could cause its downfall. Again, I don't know myself how things will turn out. It all depends on what TCG side of Konami does. I just thought this was worth bringing up, as I feel like we'll never know how well Rush will do here in the TCG until Konami themselves decides to bring it here. The last thing I want to address that I've seen people ask is, don't people hate Rush Duels? To that, the answer is yes and no. There are people who hate Rush, and that's totally fine. Everyone's got their preferences. But one thing I should mention is that it's the internet. People at times will be negative towards something regardless. It's been like that since Yu-Gi-Oh's beginning. I could probably find stuff on Pojo from the early days of the game's history to prove this point. Plus, I've seen people say that Rush is not Yu-Gi-Oh, even though it's called...
I mean, I don't really get how you could say Rush Duel isn't Yu-Gi-Oh, Chad. It's just a different format of Yu-Gi-Oh. It is, you know, very similar to Duel Links, just in like a physical form. There's no skills in it, but it's kind of applicable. So, no, he lost, I believed. Oh, you must be talking about a WWE event.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
What's up,
Rush
Fox?
Duels.
Specifically,
It's not
Joe
Pokemon
Hendry.
Rush Duel or Digimon Rush Duel, so it doesn't make much sense to me why this is a thing, but whatever, I'm getting off topic. I've also seen people go out of their way to spread misinformation about Rush and how it doesn't do well in Japan, but they don't provide any statistics to back up their arguments.
What? No.
Hold
on. Chat, Rush Duel for the not the last month, which I guess would be September, right? Last month was September. But for like the previous few months, Rush Duel was in the top 10 consistently. It was usually about 9th or 10th as far as top selling TCGs. There's a list that comes out every month. Joe Hendry didn't win the TNA title. Night Ruin Dog. Really? Why would they build him up so much to have him lose? That's what I don't. That's my annoyance of wrestling. That's kind of like what they honestly, Fox. That's kind of like what they did to Cody Rhodes last year, right? They built the Roman Reigns rivalry, and then he lost at WrestleMania, and this shit is just deflating. I know he beat him this year at WrestleMania, but that's like...
Oh, my friends
like
told me. A literal trust me bro source. Meanwhile, there's actual data from a Japanese company.
Yeah, right here, chat. Here's the data. For anyone wondering, like, oh, do people play Rush Duel? Yeah, they do. You know what I mean? Let's see. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Duel Masters, One Piece, Weiss, Dragon Ball Super, Magic, something called Dream Order, never heard of it, and Rush Duel. Rush Duel is like consistently in the top 10. So, there you go.
Company called Media Create, who analyzes Japan's TCG's industry and ranked the 15 best trading card games, and Rush Duel was in 10th place in May. Then recently it went up to 9th place, so there is data showing that Rush is doing well in Japan. I just question where these people got their source from if they're making this claim. One Twitter user was confronted with this data, and they tried to give the most goalpost-moving argument by saying it's not fine Japanese sales market, even though Media Create has been doing this since 1998. And when another user calls him out on his BS, he says nothing and just blocks the first guy. The whole point of this was to show how far people on the internet will go to spread their hate for something, even to the point of misinformation. That's just how it is here. Again, it's fine if you don't like it, but when you spread misinformation, then I have a problem. Regardless, as I said before, there are people who want to try out Rush, and again, it all depends on what Konami TCG does. Anyways, this is all I have to say about this topic.
Bro, this is another one, chat. This is like another cover card. Look how cool these cards look. Seriously, this is another one. This is another cover card from one of Rush Duel's booster sets. I'm just gonna do that, chat. I'm just gonna get like some of these cover cards of Rush Duels. And what did Dark Emperor say? There's a like an over Rush rarity or something like that.
Maybe one day we'll see Rush Duels coming to the West. I just wanted to point out its potential, as well as what can go wrong if TCG ever decides to import it.
Over Rush.
Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Rush should come here, and would you try it out when it does? Let me know in the comments below. And with that, I'll see you around, guys. Have a good day.